Hi everyone, my name is Philip and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to continue the Bitcoin wallet series and look at Wasabi. At the end we're going to rank it on the Bitcoin leaderboard and see how it compares to all the other wallets.
To get Wasabi Wallet, go to wasabiwallet.io and there's a couple of download links, so let's click on one of those. It's available for Windows, Mac or Linux. Note that it's not available for Android or iPhone or iOS based devices. Let's grab the Windows version. When you start it running, it comes up with a normal Windows installation wizard. When it finishes, you get a Wasabi Wallet icon on your desktop and we're just going to simply launch it. We get a splash screen advertising that this is a Bitcoin wallet. It's non-custodial, so that means the Bitcoins are in your wallet, not somebody else's. They advertise it as being private by default. Privacy is a big advertising point of Wasabi, and that it's open source. Then we get this funny little splash page saying start using Wasabi. First rule of Wasabi, Wasabi is for self-defense and self-defense only. Next we get some options to connect to a hardware wallet, import a wallet or recover a wallet. Let's pretend to import a wallet and see what options there are. Okay, this browser opens up Windows file dialog, so presumably this is for importing an existing Wasabi wallet. Let's pretend to recover a wallet. Test. This looks like it's looking for a seed phrase. Let's have a look under advanced recovery options. Okay, not sure what that's about. If I pretend to type in a seed phrase, this looks like it might be a standard BIP39 recovery mechanism. I won't go for full recovery. Let's go back and continue on. Next up, create a new wallet. We'll call our wallet test. Now we get our recovery words. You need to note these down. Note that if anyone ever gets hold of these recovery words, they can take or spend your Bitcoin. So these are very sensitive. This is a throwaway wallet, which is why I'm leaving this on screen. Let's continue on. Now it asks us to test the recovery words we just did. So I'll type those in from the previous screen. Okay, it's happy with my recovery words and I can click continue. Now it's asking for a password. And that's warning us that we can't recover or change this password, so we must make sure we never lose it. Part of Wasabi's privacy is it supports coin join, and we've got three options here. We can minimize costs, maximize speed, or maximize privacy. This will be a personal choice of yours. Because we're just doing this for testing, we're just going to simply go for speed. There's also a customize option here. Let's have a look at that. Okay, it has some kind of scoring system for anonymity, and you can slide this along and change what score you'd like to aim for. I'm not sure what this relates to. You'd have to check the documentation for Wasabi. We're just going to stick with the standard setting and we'll say continue. And now it says our wallet was successfully created and it's asking for our password to get into it. Now we're presented with terms and conditions, which we have to accept. What happens if I click on terms and conditions? Alright, there's lots of legal terms and conditions. Oh, it's very, very long, isn't it? No one's going to read these, are they? Alright, let's go back and we'll accept these terms and conditions and continue. Let's go through some of the settings on the different menus. On the general page, we can see the options here, so we can run in dark mode, which looks like the default. You can have Wasabi start automatically when your computer starts. You can have it run in the background. It can auto copy addresses and auto paste them. Pasting's turned off by default. It is using Tor by default, and I note that it automatically installs Tor, so you don't have to do anything to use Tor for privacy. Terminate Tor when Wasabi shuts down, so do note that if you do quit Wasabi, Tor will keep on running and automatically download new versions. And we have fee display unit. Let's have a look here, Bitcoin or in sats. I might change to sats since I'll be doing tests with smaller amounts. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin tab. Alright, we get to choose which network we want to use, main, testnet or reg test. Actually, I'm going to change this to testnet so I can import some test Bitcoin and try out the features. I note that it says you have to restart Wasabi for it to change. One unique feature of Wasabi is it actually comes with its own Bitcoin daemon, Bitcoin knots by default, rather than having to rely on a third-party server. And I can see you can also specify which Bitcoin server to talk to. So by default, it's talking to Bitcoin knots on the machine you're running it from, but potentially you could point it at your own node. Under the Advanced tab, there's an option to enable or disable the GPU for rendering the GUI interface. It's not used for anything else other than the user interface. Okay, let's say restart Wasabi so we can change back into testnet. Now that I've restarted in testnet mode, it's going through all the same setup screens again, so I need to create a new wallet. This is because testnet wallets are separate from mainnet wallets. When you're transferring Bitcoin, don't ever get mixed up a testnet wallet address with a mainnet wallet address or you may lose Bitcoin. I'll complete the rest of the setup and then come back. Back in the main interface again, I see there's an option here to add more wallets, so you must be able to add and have multiple wallets open at the same time. We won't go through this process since we've already just created one. Presumably if you have multiple wallets, they appear down here and we just have my main testnet one I just created. Let's take a look at what this discrete mode button here does. Okay, it just hides all the balances in case someone's looking over your shoulder. I note that Wasabi is saying testnet up here to warn me I'm in testnet mode. Okay, we've got 3 dots here. Let's have a look what's under here. There's coin join settings, and we can see we can automatically start coin join. There's a threshold, and there's a strategy we set at the beginning. What's next? Wallet settings. This lets you verify your recovery words. I don't know what you do if you found your recovery words didn't work. That would mean your backup was screwed, and how would you recover from that? Then we have wallet stats, so showing the number of coins we have, our unconfirmed balance and confirmed balance, and our total balance, number of transactions, number of coin join transactions, number of addresses. There's even more settings down here. Lots of information. The last option here is wallet info. Put our password back in again. This lets us get our private key. Once again, this is another super secret piece of information you wouldn't want anyone to share. You could use this for importing into another wallet. I'm not sure what this extended master key is. Generally, we've got lots of sensitive information that you wouldn't want to share with other people. I do note that you get both SegWit and Taproot addresses as well. Let's get some test Bitcoin. I'm assuming receive will give me a receive address to use. It's asking us to name who we'll give this address to, so we'll label it Coin Faucet since that's where we're going to get our test Bitcoin from. And then it gives us a normal QR code and an address. I will copy that address. Get our test Bitcoin, we're going to go to coinfaucet.eu. Note I'm using Edge here. This website doesn't work in Google Chrome, so you have to use a browser other than Chrome. We're going to choose to get our coin from the Bitcoin testnet, and then we're going to put in our receive address there and say get Bitcoins. Note these are test Bitcoins and they have no real value. They're only for testing purposes. When you get test Bitcoins from a faucet of some kind, they often give you a return address, which is this address in this case. It's considered good manners to return your test Bitcoin when you finish using them so other people can do so. So we'll make a copy of that so we can return it when we're finished. And now we'll head back to Wasabi. Wasabi's main screen is already showing that we've got an unconfirmed incoming Bitcoin transaction, and it says it's waiting to auto start coin join. Now testnet can often be quite slow. If you're doing this, you might have to wait 20-30 minutes. When I double click on it, it gives me more information about the transaction, the time, the amount. The status is still pending. Presumably this will wait for a certain number of confirmations before it considers it verified. Over on the left I can see a number of little buttons. This one here brings up the transaction detail, which I just got before. This one says pending. I'm going to guess this will say confirmed. Will give me a number of confirmations when done. And this one says it's a transaction. I also note I now have a send button at the top. Okay, I think I'm going to have to wait and come back once it's finished receiving the transaction, and then it can start the coin join process. While I'm waiting, I can also see a little tick in the bottom right hand corner here. When I tick it, it tells me Tor is running. Backend, which is the Bitcoin node, is running, and I'm guessing that's how many pairs is running in the Bitcoin node, which is where it gets details of transactions, and it'll also send transactions through those pairs. I also have to commend Wasabi so far on its interface. I'm finding it very clean and easy to drive. It's now been about 2 hours since we last took a look. Checkmark is now saying we've had 12 confirmations, and what's happened is it started splitting out this incoming transaction into lots of little ones and sending them out into the conjoin world. You can see a lot of the conjoins have been verified, and there's still several in progress. Now let's have a go at sending some Bitcoin. I'll click on the send button. You have the option to scan a QR code here or to copy and paste in an address. I'm going to paste in the Coin Faucet one from last time, and I'm going to send 0.0001 BTC. One thing I've noticed is it doesn't look like you can create an address book of common addresses that you send to. All you can do is tag addresses after you send them. I'd quite like to be able to load in all the common destinations I send Bitcoin to, so I don't accidentally make copy and paste errors. So now it's asking me to classify this one, so I'll use my existing label Coin Faucet and say continue. It's giving me an overview of this transaction, how much is going to be sent, which address it's going to go to. We've got some fields down here to say how long it's going to take. Now we click over here and we can control the fee options. So at the moment it's saying if we use this fee, it's going to take around 20 minutes. If we spend more on our fee, it'll happen faster. In this case, I want to try doing either replace by fee or child pays for parents, so I'm going to make the fee very low. I also see there is a little shield here you can click on, and that gives you some privacy recommendations. It says we can avoid change by sending less Bitcoin. That'll be to stop splitting UXTOs. One option I missed when setting the fee there is also in a little advanced link down the bottom bottom here, and then this lets you specify a manual fee. So let's carry on and confirm the transaction. Password for our wallet, and then we get a notice that the transaction has been sent and a little notification. Back in the main screen, we can see our outbound transaction here pending. It's waiting for confirmation still. I'll click on the little properties box. We'll see what it says. You can see it status sending the amount, so it adds the fee on top of the amount. So the 0.0001 I sent is actually how much will be received. Notice there's no easy options, like you can't right click on the transaction to get any details either. There is no replace by fee mechanism. There is a child pays for parent, but it's a little bit complicated. We'll give it a try now. You have to simultaneously press Control C and D. It then looks like you have to select the transaction you've just done, then click send selected coins. You have to put it in the destination address. I'm going to paste in the same one from before and go continue. Same label again for coin faucet. Looks like we have to use a little pencil to do change transaction, and then set the new fee. So we'll bump this up to fastest, and then we'll confirm the transaction. Enter our wallet password one more time, and then it tells us our transaction has been sent. We can see we've now got two entries, the original one here and the one that had the fee bump. In fact, our original transaction is now showing as having two confirmations. I can't see any other features or fee things we haven't tried, so let's go and look at the leaderboard. On the leaderboard, there is a Windows, Linux and Mac version. There are no mobile versions such as for Android or iPhone running iOS, so it scores 6 out of 10 for cross-platform support. It ships both with a custom node and lets you specify your own node. It does support testnet. There is no lightning support. I'm going to give it a bonus point because the user interface for configuring the node is quite good, plus it actually comes bundled with its own node ready to go. Wasabi is a self-custody wallet. It only supports Bitcoin. It is also both a hot wallet and supports hardware, so it has cold wallet support. The address rotation is kind of automatic in the way that when you say you receive something, you tag who it's from and it generates a new address for every receiver. It is open source and it has CoinJoin support, although I feel the CoinJoin support is a little bit difficult at the moment. There is no multi-sig support. I'm going to give it a bonus point because the interface is quite nice and easy to use, and I found it intuitive. For wallet portability, it does support BIP39 both for importing and exporting wallets. I couldn't find any way that you could import private keys, and there was no other special features for helping you move from Wasabi to a different wallet, so no bonus points in this area. As far as fee control goes, you can manually specify the fee. It has a guided option, so you can choose roughly how much it's going to take to get it done in a certain time. There is no replace by fee support. There is child pays for parent, although I don't feel very good about awarding it a point here because it's a little bit difficult, but it does have it. What I'll do is I just won't give it any bonus points because it is a bit tricky to use. So on the leaderboard, this gives Wasabi a score of 7 out of 10 overall.
I really like the Wasabi interface. It's nice and simplistic. It's nice how it has built-in Tor support and its own node. You can see why they pitch it as a privacy-based wallet. I do worry a little bit about CoinJoin for the potential that a banned or sanctioned wallet might be doing a transaction and it'll get mixed in with your transaction, and potentially all the outputs will then be blocked and won't be usable in other places. This is something you'll have to give some weight to. I'm going to leave some other videos around my head you might like, and thanks for watching.